now seeing a welcome reversal, with economic inactivity down by 400,000.
Right, Sarah Russell.
Could the Honourable Lady please tell me about the measures she is taking to reduce child poverty?
Can the Minister... Yes.
Mr Speaker, as you know well, as the Honourable Lady knows well, improved employment is at the heart of our approach to child poverty, and that's why reductions in economic inactivity and improvements in employment will be part of our child poverty strategy to be published very soon.
Tim Farrell.
Mr Speaker, does the Minister accept that the government's increase in national insurance contributions has had a negative impact on employment levels in communities like ours? Cumbria Tourism assesses that 37% of its businesses have cut staff as a consequence, 33% freezing recruitment. Is it possible that the government will actually get less in from this tax rise than it expects, and in doing so do grave harm to the Cumbrian tourism economy and many other parts of our economy?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I'd like to thank the honourable gentleman for his question. I speak to many businesses, and in fact, since coming into office, Secretary of State and I have totally changed our approach with employers. And that new approach includes a partnership with UK Hospitality, providing specific employment support to get into hospitality and a hospitality passport so that people can evidence their qualifications, which we believe, and UK Hospitality think, can help those people who really need a chance in life get a good start in the hospitality sector.
Jessica Morgan.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Visiting businesses in Newport East this summer, there's a high demand for companies, including Thames Valley Construction, who I visited to train more construction workers locally. And I was really pleased to see the government make that announcement in the summer to train 40,000 more people. Can the ministers tell me what conversations they're having with the Welsh Government to work together to do this?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honourable Lady for her important question. We won't build 1.5 much-needed million homes without bringing people into the construction sector, which is why, as part of our new approach to employers, we've partnered with the construction sector, we've set up specific schemes with them, and we're talking directly across Whitehall with other government departments and with the sector about moving people into great jobs in construction.
Secretary of State Helen Whately.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Very good to see you back after the summer recess. Now, the Honourable Lady can fling around the stats all she likes, but the facts are clear and they are bleak. Under her watch, youth unemployment has gone up. Nearly 1 million and rising young people are not in work or education, including over 40,000 more young women. A generation of brilliant young people are going on to benefits rather than into work. But their jobs tax and the Unemployment Rights Bill were guaranteed to reduce opportunities for young people. We've had the winter fuel U-turn. We've had the welfare U-turn. Why not a U-turn to help young people?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The damage was done to the coming generation under the Tories. I think we failed the pandemic generation. They put a shift in and stayed at home and gave up their social lives to save older loved ones. And I really think I could talk at length about our youth guarantee, our trailblazers, the work that we're doing to expand youth hubs, but actually it sticks in my craw to hear the party opposite, who failed this generation, harp on about it from that dispatch box.
Joe Morris.
Question number 2, Mr Speaker.
Secretary of State.
This Labour government believes every young person should be able to fulfil their potential, and unlike members opposite, we will not stand by while almost 1 million are not in education, employment or training. Our Get Britain Working trailblazer in the North East is already helping young and neurodivergent people with supported work and training placements, including in Hexham. And the local job centre is also working with Newcastle United Foundation to help young people build their confidence and develop their skills, so they and our country can look forward to a brighter future.
Joe Morris.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. For too long, previous governments didn't take into account the realities of life in communities across my constituency, which is incredibly sparsely populated and quite rural. The Youth Guarantee can and will make a considerable difference in communities all across that, from the Tyne Valley all the way out to the North Tyne and into Calton and Throckley too. So can the Secretary of State work with me to ensure that we continue to support young people in all those different disparate communities to access the skills and the opportunities that they deserve?
Secretary of State.
My honourable friend is right to say that people have different needs in different parts of the country. We need to tailor employment support to the needs of individuals. So alongside measures like our youth guarantee, we are also overhauling our job centres to provide that more personalised support, and indeed introducing measures like mobile job centres to provide better help in rural areas.
Michelle Scrockham.
Question number 3, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the significant investment, DWP has partnered with BAE and the nuclear sector to promote a variety of career pathways, including roles across their supply chains. We're also working within BAE's The Bridge Hub in Barrow, a collaborative space offering employment advice and support from BAE systems and a range of local employers and organisations to connect talent with locally based jobs. In Barrow, further, our Youth Hub is run in partnership with Brathay Trust and Project John, supporting young people holistically to meet employers and develop their talents.
Michelle Scrockham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've been impressed by the work being done in Drop Zone in my constituency. They run a variety of projects for young people, including specialised education for those with additional needs, mental health support and support for the transition back into education, employment and training. But young people in Barrow and Furness still face difficult challenges from a long legacy of underfunding. The Youth Trailblazer scheme is already making a difference in some constituencies after just a few months. Will the Minister meet with me to discuss how we can tailor this scheme to specifically target young people in Barrow and Furness?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honourable Lady for her question. Barrow does have unique circumstances, unique challenges and unique opportunities, and it's important that all parts of the government address those unique opportunities and challenges in Barrow. And I would be very happy to meet with her to discuss that further, what we're already doing and what more we can go on to do to make sure that young people in Barrow have the best chance possible in life.
John Mull.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 4.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Office for Budget Responsibility forecast in March that incapacity and disability benefit spending would be £90.7 billion in 2029-30. That figure will be updated at the budget. Better employment support, removing perverse work disincentives in universal credit are the key to getting more people into work.
John Mull.
Mr. Speaker, just 2 months ago, the Secretary of State was left humiliated after being forced to significantly water down her botched welfare bill. So can the Minister tell the House, if the Government had pressed ahead with the bill as originally drafted, how much less would taxpayers be spending on benefits by 2030?
Well, as I've said, Mr. Speaker, the OBR will update its forecast at the time of the budget. But we inherited a terrible situation with record numbers of people economically inactive. Economic inactivity is down since the election. Employment is up. Those developments have been encouraging, but our reforms will be going much further. The £3.8 billion that we're investing in employment support for people out of work on health and disability grounds, that's the biggest package ever, will be the key.
Peter, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would she agree with me that we must invest in community mental health services if we are to reduce spending on mental health disability?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I very much welcome the NHS 10-year plan, which our right honourable friend has published, which does give a new priority and new commitment to mental health support. And I agree with my honourable friend, that's a very important part of tackling the problems that we need to resolve.
Shadow Minister Danny Cook.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And it's good to see the Minister back after the break. But I'm sorry to hear that there are still no plans to reduce spending on PIP. Indeed, he has said that he is collaborating with people who would not be working with him on his review if there were to be any reductions in the levels of benefit or eligibility. So given this veto on the cuts to PIP, can I implore him again to at least look at the benefits that PIP is gateway to, so motability, disability premium, council tax discounts, blue badges. Would he at least promise that these entitlements could come down?
Well, Mr. Speaker, we've made it clear we are going to co-produce our review of the PIP assessment with disabled people themselves, with representatives of disability organisations. The review will cover the mobility component assessment, which leads on to the Motability scheme, and other entitlements which PIP is a gateway to.
But no possibility of any of those entitlements coming down or any of the spending being reduced. Now, Mr. Speaker, we have 1.25 million foreign nationals claiming universal credit. Most of them are not in employment. I hope he doesn't plan to co-produce his plans with foreign nationals. Though knowing Labour lawyers, I expect they'll be saying that the ECHR demands they do just that. Can he tell the House whether he thinks that subsidising more and more foreign nationals is what the British security system is for? And if not, will he, as we've been arguing, will he restrict sickness benefits to British nationals only?
Is that we have a fair system. We are reviewing universal credit at the moment. We're looking at problems, for example, the 5-week wait that was inserted into universal credit when it was introduced. And we're making changes to make sure that it effectively tackles poverty and deals with and does the job that we need it to do. Fairness will be at the heart of the system.
Tasha Iyer.
Question number 6, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Croydon East, young people aged 18 to 21 will be helped by a Youth Guarantee Trailblazer being delivered by the Greater London Authority. This will strengthen early identification and outreach to engage young Londoners who are not in employment, education or training or at risk of being so, linking them to better support, employment and education opportunities and essential services they need. I'm glad that DWP will continue to support the communities within Croydon East by hosting an information stall at her upcoming advice fair in New Addington.
Natasha Irons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Croydon is London's youngest borough, and with 6.6% of people aged between 16 and 24 claiming out-of-work benefits in my constituency of Croydon East, supporting young people into work and breaking down barriers to their opportunities is vital. So could you just give us a little bit more detail about the additional funding for the London Youth Guarantee Trailblazers, and can she outline how they will be helping Croydon's young people get into work? And I look forward to having the DWP with us in New Addington.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Lady for her question, and I'll pass on her comments to my colleagues in Croydon who are really keen to work with her and the other MPs there. In the summer, the Secretary of State announced further funding for our 8 Youth Guarantee Trailblazers with an extra 45 million, and that will make sure that in London, like in the rest of the country, our young people get the choices and chances they deserve.
John Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Number 7, please.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government has committed to significant measures to counter welfare fraud, error and debt. This is the biggest package of such measures in recent history, and the OBR has estimated it will deliver an additional £9.6 billion of savings over the next 5 years. The package is underpinned by our Public Authorities Fraud, Error and Recovery Bill, which contains a range of new powers to enable us to keep pace with offenders who exploit the social security system.
Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Minister for his answer there. I think we can all agree that fraud strikes at the heart of the system, underpinning it, kicking away the underpinnings of it, in fact. And I do hope that the government will undertake a zero-tolerance approach to this, unlike in Scotland, where we have recently heard that £36 million of benefit money which was paid out in error is not now to be recovered. Does the Minister agree that that's deeply unfair to taxpayers?
Minister.
The honourable gentleman tempts me to encroach upon what are legitimately policy questions for the Scottish Government. What I would say is that the policy of this government is clear and is set out in the bill, but I am grateful to the Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice for continuing to work with me constructively to try and make this bill as workable as possible, alignment where we can, but where, if we end up diverging, we are still able to make sure that we are doing everything that we can from this Parliament and everything that the Scottish Government chooses to do to bear down on fraud and error.
Chris Kay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the Minister share my surprise that a member of the party responsible for over a decade of rising poverty, record benefit delays and billions lost to fraud and error is now suddenly concerned about tackling it? And while across this House we recognise the need to tackle fraud within our welfare system, we should also recognise the huge issue we have with tax avoidance and tax evasion, as recently highlighted by the Public Accounts Committee, which requires significant attention.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I very much agree with my honourable friend. This government is determined to bear down on tax evasion with 5,000 additional investigators wherever we see people who are ripping off the public purse, whether that is those who are defrauding the DWP or whether there are those who are abusing the tax system. We are determined to bear down on that, and that is what we will do.
Alison Bean.
Question 8, please, Mr Speaker.
Minister.
Mr Speaker, the PIP application process is outdated and can be very difficult to navigate. The current health transformation programme will deliver radical improvements and much better efficiency.
Alison.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In my constituency of Freeman East Somerset, I was contacted by a woman who'd suffered 2 strokes, resulting in permanent right-side paralysis and ongoing mobility difficulties. Despite her condition being permanent, she's had to undergo reassessment for PIP and has appealed for it to be reinstated. I welcome the government changing this reassessment requirement for people with long-term health conditions, but could the Minister clarify what steps they're taking to reduce the stress and difficulty of the PIP application process for people with these serious health conditions?
Well, Mr Speaker, the health transformation programme that I've mentioned will allow the introduction of a modern digital service, which is certainly not how the current arrangements should be characterised. It's a big job. The programme is going to run until 2029, but the outcome from it will be a process which is simpler, which is easier to understand, I hope, reducing the stress that the honourable member has rightly drawn attention to, and also with shorter decision times.
Rachel Maskell.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Over the summer I have been doing a deep dive into children with SEND and not least looking at those transition points between education and work. As part of the Tim's review, his own review, will he ensure that that interface is really looked at so there is a smooth transition for young people as opposed to the cliff edges which many young people face in being able to make that transition into work?
Well, Mr Speaker, the review will look specifically at the PIP assessment, but we have, in the Green Paper published earlier this year, suggested that the age of transition from DLA to PIP should be increased from 16 to 18. That was one of the consultation proposals. I think that change could assist with the concerns the honourable friend is raising. We're looking at the moment at the consultation responses we've received.
Question 9, Mr Speaker.
Secretary of State.
We are determined to drive down child poverty in the honourable gentleman's constituency and right across Scotland and the rest of the UK. Our child poverty strategy will look at every lever at our disposal to drive up family incomes, drive down family costs and give every child the best start in life. I regularly discuss these issues with the Chancellor and indeed ministers across government, because we will leave no stone unturned in ensuring every child can fulfil their potential because they deserve it and our country needs it.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. 2 million pensioners in the UK are in poverty, with the British state pension amongst the worst in North West Europe. During the independence referendum, Better Together claimed our pensions are more affordable as part of the UK. 11 years on, can the ministers tell me exactly what the union is doing for Scottish pensioners other than impoverish them?
Secretary.
I mean, I would say to the honourable gentleman, investing in an additional £31 billion in the triple lock over the Parliament is delivering huge benefits to pensioners in Scotland. Our measures to drive up uptake of pension credit to help the very poorest pensioners. Our measures to stabilise the economy, to invest in the NHS, which many pensioners rely on. I'm very proud of the action that we are taking, but indeed with the biggest ever funding settlement agreed for Scotland and given by this government, I would ask him to ask some challenging questions of his own government to make sure they deliver for Scotland's pensioners too.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Last year, a staggering 1 in 4 kids in Derby lived in poverty. Our local charities like the Derby Food for Thought Alliance do some amazing work, handing out last year 20,000 food parcels. Will the Secretary of State ensure that the upcoming food poverty strategy, the child poverty strategy, sorry, address the root causes of child food poverty so that parents aren't left struggling to put tea on the table?
Secretary of State.
I understand very well the issues my honourable friend raises. As a former chair of Feeding Leicester, the programme to end hunger in my city, I see only too clearly the links between poverty and dependence on emergency food parcels. I'm very proud we've already slashed deductions in universal credit, that we have extended the Crisis and Resilience Fund, the first 3-year funding settlement for that under this government. There's much more to do, but we want to make sure children have hungry minds, not hungry bellies, and we are determined to deliver.
Peter Bedford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The best way of reducing poverty is being in work. But as a result of this government's damaging economic policies, we've seen youth unemployment rise by 6% since the general election. What representations will the Secretary of State make to the Chancellor ahead of the budget to ensure that more damage isn't done?
Secretary of State.
The Labour Party believes that everybody who can work must work. I would say to him he should look at his own party's record. The disability employment gap has stalled under their watch. The lone parent employment rate stalled. Economic inactivity rose. We haven't got the only country in the G7 whose employment rate hasn't got back to pre-pandemic levels. We are overhauling our employment system to help more people into work and get on in their work. I'm proud of our record. Maybe he should look at his own.
Neil Duncan-Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tackling poverty should, of course, be one of the key priorities of any government that wishes to see its people thrive. The Equality Act 2010 includes a socio-economic duty that requires all public bodies to address such inequalities when making strategic decisions. Can the Secretary of State tell the House when this duty will be enacted in England?
My honourable friend raises a really important point, and I would say to him, throughout the work of the DWP, we are already looking at how we narrow gaps between different parts of the country and different groups. We have set our job centres and employment system new targets to reduce those gaps. We are taking cross-government action to tackle child poverty too. We have achieved a lot. There's a lot more to do. But this government, unlike members opposite, has made tackling poverty an absolute priority. We have our child poverty strategy coming out in the autumn, and I would just say to honourable members, watch this space.
Sarah Bull.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 10.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The latest provisional statistics taken from StatExplore show that in July 2025, there were 768,000 people aged 16 to 24 years old on universal credit. And around 180,000 young people are on universal credit and in work, which is about a quarter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Minister for her response, but according to the House of Commons Library, in my constituency of South Northamptonshire, the claimant count for aged 16 to 24 has risen by 46%. That's 46%, one of the largest percentage increases in the country. This side of the House knows that the government has a moral duty not to let our young people learn that a life of benefits is a life for them. So how does the Minister explain this increase and what will they do?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just must remind members opposite again that it was their party that introduced universal credit, removing the distinction between out-of-work and in-work benefits. But for those 3/4 of young people who are out of work and on universal credit, our guarantee for young people will make sure that they get a second chance in life after they were utterly failed during the pandemic by the Conservative Party.
Sarah Hall.
Question number 11, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Department continues to provide a broad range of data to local authorities to enable fast, accurate assessments for services including blue badges and free school meals. Looking ahead, the Department is committed to expanding real-time data sharing in critical areas such as housing benefit and care homes, while also testing innovative models such as the Work Well scheme that bring together local and central services to deliver more joined-up support for citizens.
Sarah Hall.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Warrington South, too many children entitled to free school meals are missing out because of avoidable administrative barriers. No child should have to sit in a classroom hungry. Every child deserves a full stomach and a fair chance. A simple change would make a big difference, ensuring every eligible child gets the support they are entitled to. It would ease pressure on families, help reduce child poverty and give schools the confidence that pupils are ready to learn. Will the Minister commit to strengthening data sharing, not only with local authorities, but also with the Department for Education, so that automatic enrolment for free school meals can be introduced?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend is entirely right to raise this issue. It is something that we will look at working closely with the Department for Education as part of the child poverty strategy. But can I also say to her that, of course, we share her ambition to ensure that families can claim the support they need. Our expansion of free school meals to all children in households claiming universal credit will actually make it much easier for parents to know if they are eligible, as well as lifting some 100,000 children out of poverty.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Minister very much for his reply? As always, he's very positive in his responses. Minister, in relation to the anti-poverty strategy that the Minister referred to, can I ask what discussions has the Minister had in relation to the anti-poverty strategy for us in Northern Ireland? The Assembly, the poverty levels have risen dramatically, mental health issues have risen dramatically, and young people in particular are under great pressure. I know the Minister is always compassionate and understanding. Can I ask him what he's doing in relation to the Northern Ireland Assembly to make it better for us there as well? Thank you.
Minister.
The honourable gentleman will understand, Mr. Speaker, that we want this to be a strategy for England, Wales, Scotland and, of course, Northern Ireland. And he will be reassured to know that those leading on the child poverty strategy have held a number of meetings with ministers in Northern Ireland to make sure that the specific needs of Northern Ireland are taken into consideration.
Damon Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 13, please.
Secretary of State.
1 in 8 young people are not in education, employment or training. That's bad for them, bad for businesses and bad for our country as a whole. Our West of England Youth Guarantee Trailblazer, which includes my honourable friend's constituency, is helping to remove barriers to work for young people, including by providing free bus travel for participants and connecting young people with skills support. Last month, I announced an additional £45 million to extend our Youth Guarantee Trailblazers, so we guarantee all young people are earning or learning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and that's fantastic to hear. So I'd like to ask the Secretary of State to set out the practical impact so far of what the West of England Youth Guarantee Trailblazer is achieving, and assuming it's positive, to confirm plans to back this up with more investment to support our young people in the Bristol area.
I'm really proud of the work that is being led in the West of England, including by our fantastic Mayor, Helen Godwin, to help more young people. One of the specific things it has been doing is engaging much more deeply with employers, over 135 employers, helping to enrol young people in employability courses and giving them more work placements to give them the skills and experience they need. He will know young people say you need experience to get a job, but in order to get the job, you need that experience. We're trying to turn that around. The additional funding we've announced will provide up to another £5 million for that West of England Youth Guarantee Trailblazer. A lot done, but a lot more to do.
Christine Jardine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Question number 14, please.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Government is committed to ensuring that all pensioners receive the support to which they are entitled. That's why we've been running the biggest ever pension credit take-up campaign. We plan to continue promotional activity through from September to the end of this financial year, with a focus not just on eligible pensioners, but on their friends and family too.
Christine Jardine.
Mr. Speaker, earlier this year, a constituent of mine in Edinburgh West, however, contacted me about the delay she had faced in getting pension credit she was entitled to. She applied in September last year, was told it would be November, and it was actually March before she got her pension credit awarded. The delay meant she went without extra support at the same time as losing her winter fuel allowance through the winter. So what steps will the Minister be taking to cut these delays and stop more vulnerable pensioners left cold this winter?
Minister.
Well, I thank the honourable member for her question. On the individual case, I hope she'll write with me with those details. On the more general picture, I can reassure her that what we now have is lower backlogs in terms of cases to be processed for pension credit than we inherited under the last government. That's despite the record level of claims that have come through.
Judith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Boots has been a significant employer in my constituency of Broxtowe since 1927, and many of my constituents have been proud to work for them. However, those close to claiming their pensions have been advised that they're unable to withdraw their pensions at an unreduced rate at the age of 60, as they were led to believe. Can I ask the Minister to recognise the frustration many of the Boots pensioners now feel, and does he agree with me that the Pensions Ombudsman should progress swiftly with their process?
Minister.
Well, I thank the honourable friend for her question. She's raised this matter with me before, and the one thing I can confirm is that she's a powerful advocate for her constituents on what is a very important issue for them. She knows that I won't be able to comment on the individual cases, particularly as it's now with the Pension Ombudsman, but more generally it is important that where promises have been made to pensioners in the details of their pensions, that those are lived up to, and that's exactly what the Pension Ombudsman exists to make sure happens.
Shadow Minister Montgomery.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, thanks to our Conservative winter fuel payments campaign, thousands of pensioners have signed up to pension credits, and millions more pensioners will receive winter fuel allowance after the party opposite admitted that their policy on winter fuel payments was wrong. But, Mr. Speaker, the Social Security Advisory Committee recently concluded that the government's winter fuel plans fall short in delivering their objectives of fairness, administrative simplicity and targeted support. It seems, Mr. Speaker, that the government has prioritised civil service bureaucracy over helping frozen pensioners. Does the Minister agree with the Social Security Advisory Committee's conclusion on their policies?
Minister.
Well, I thank the honourable member for his question, and I would also congratulate members on all sides of this House that have run campaigns to drive up pension credit. It is very important. That is why we've seen 60,000 extra awards over the course of the year to July 2025 compared to the year previously, and that is very welcome, not just work by members but work done by civil society organisations and local authorities too. Specifically on the points he raised about the process for winter fuel payments for this winter and forward, I don't agree with the characterisation he's chosen to present. Particularly on the tax side, the process will be automatic. Nobody will be brought into tax or self-assessment purely because of that change, and the vast majority will have their winter fuel payments recouped through the PAYE system automatically, and anyone that wants to can opt out. And I should remind members that the deadline for that is the 15th of September.
Liberal Democrat spokesperson Steve Darling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the Labour government inherited